Shining the Light with IUMC welcomes you to another Meditate at 8.
In Luke 9:51, it says that Jesus, as his last week on earth began, set his face to go to Jerusalem. This simple statement carries profound significance, which is the focus of our meditation for today. Firstly, Jerusalem was the center of religious and political power in Israel at the time of Jesus' life. It was the place where the temple stood and the holy city where Jewish pilgrims came to offer sacrifices and celebrate the annual festivals. Jerusalem was also a city suffering under Roman occupation and oppression, where Pilate, the Roman governor, lived and governed, and where a garrison of Roman soldiers were stationed. When Jesus set his face towards this city, he was signaling his commitment and willingness to confront the powers that be, powers that stood in the way of God's kingdom of justice, mercy, and peace. Secondly, when Jesus decided this was the time to go to Jerusalem, he was signaling to his followers and to us that he knew his hour had come. Jesus knew he was walking towards his death. In so doing, he demonstrated the ultimate act of love, offering himself as a sacrifice for the sins of the world. This act of self-giving love is at the heart of our Wesleyan tradition. We believe that God's love for us is the foundation for our salvation, for all salvation, and that our response to that love should be a life of commitment and service. Jesus' journey to Jerusalem is a powerful example of what it means to follow God's call, even when it seems all too clear that the path will be difficult and painful. Jesus knew what awaited him in Jerusalem, and yet he went. The gospel further tells us that when Jesus arrived in the city, he wept over it. He cried for a city filled with people who, by the end of the week, would cry out for his death on the cross. He knew that the religious and political powers would reject him because they were invested in maintaining their own power and control. He knew others would reject him because they simply didn't understand what he was offering. Jerusalem reminds us that we live in a broken world. Despite our brokenness, we can take comfort in the fact that Jesus' journey to Jerusalem did not end with his death. Easter is coming, and there will be a resurrection. Today, though, as we reflect on Jesus' journey, we're challenged to consider our own journey as disciples. Are we willing to set our faces toward the places where God is calling us, no matter what the circumstances? Are we willing to trust in God to bring life and renewal out of death and darkness? What do you think?